Hi, Mike Kennedy. A little more about the Leatherman and mushroom identification. Well, normally there are several photos you should take to identify a mushroom. And if you get these photos, they're very descriptive. Not that you're not going to add some text to it, but this would be the baseline to provide information to someone so that they could do a possible ID. And one of those is to cut the mushroom from up to down, slice it directly through. I'm going to show you these pictures afterwards. But why I'm mentioning this is that normally I would have normally I'm getting the paw, the little doggies, walking my daughter's dog. Usually bring him out. So you've got one hand free. Okay, I'm holding I pick up the mushroom, I'm holding it. Now see, of course I won't be able to do this well left-handed, I'm right-handed. But the ability to open this with one hand is really nice. The ability to close it with one hand is really nice. So in other words, instead of having to use two hands to deploy, this goes for the two knife blades, okay? A one-handed opening. You probably couldn't say that about the, I don't know, it would be kind of hard to open with one hand the file or the saw because they don't have this little thing here that your hand can grip into so easily. So you're holding a mushroom, you need a knife. Normally I might be carrying my Mora with me, and so instead, I'm carrying this Leatherman around with me. So I can hold the mushroom with one hand, easily take it out of its pouch, easily open it, and slice the mushroom in half. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, there's a couple of things happening here when you slit a mushroom in half. You're seeing things like, well, does it have a hollow stem? How are the gills or pores connected to the stem? Something too in a side view, if you don't take a side view of it uncut, you'll see the base. Is the base enlarged? That's why, especially when you're beginning mushroom hunting, it's better to pull a mushroom up rather than cut it. There's a big controversy about that. People will go berserk about that issue. But if you're identifying mushrooms the first time, it's really nice to see the base, especially if it's a gill mushroom, because that enlarged base often goes with the amanitas, which contains some of the most poison mushrooms there are. And there are some edible ones in that group too. But so we have these photos that we generally take. Number one is one in place, actually shows what it's growing in or by. Then take a picture of the cap, looking down on the mushroom. Then you take a side view, and the side view is going to show the detail of what they call the stipe. You might call it the stem. Then you turn the mushroom over and take a picture of it, and this reveals the structure, whether it has gills, whether it has pores, or whether it has teeth. A lot of times people will post a mushroom somewhere and say, what is this? And it's just the top of the mushroom. And sometimes the mushroom ID people will get very upset, and they'll say things like, well, if you had a baseball hat on and you took a picture from above and all I saw was a baseball hat, how would I know who you were? It's kind of like that with the mushrooms. I mean, there are some that are more distinctive, but really to get a good ID, you shouldn't just have the top of the mushroom. So you've got that, and then you can do the split view. Now what the split view will reveal, if you watch it for a second or two, is if the mushroom is going to change color when, you got something stuck in your fur. Will reveal if the mushroom's going to change color when it's been exposed to air or when it's been, disturbed with a knife. Usually you can run your finger across the gills, pore, teeth, and see if they change color or not, to see if they exude a liquid or not. So these are all clues that can be contained in these photographs, and with some additional text you might say, oh yes, this and it might show up in the photo. When I bruise these pores, in other words, disturb them, rubbed across them with your fingers, they turned blue, they turned brown. They didn't change any color at all. Maybe with the gills, when you bruise the gills, there are certain species that will exude a milky white type of what you might call sap, or looks like milk. So you would say that it when bruised, it exuded, or a milky substance appeared. So these are all tricks to get the proper photographs to identify mushrooms, and I'm finding that this I guess we have to perfect this left-handed now with the dog in the car. Oh, that isn't good. I don't want to cut myself. But it's just very handy to be able to have a knife that you can open with a multi-tool that you can open with one hand. If you're going to have a multi-tool and you're going to have something in your hands, you've got a dog leash, you've got a mushroom, you got a walking stick, all these things. Well, it really helps to have something, a knife that you can just pull out and use, or in this case, a multi-tool that it doesn't take two hands to operate, because then you're all of a sudden, you're juggling, and it's like, you pick this mushroom, are you going to put it back on the ground? For me, at my age and my back, it makes a big difference how many times they go up and down. So I'm probably not going to set the mushroom back down while I fiddle with the knife to open it. In other words, some multi-tools like I've got an inexpensive Radio Shack one. It's fairly rugged. It's kind of thicker metal and things, so it's good. But you have to physically go in and open it. And sometimes some multi-tools, you need to have your fingernails so you can pull these things out and everything. So it becomes a two-handed job. So anyway, that's really nice that the Leatherman Wave Plus can be opened with one hand. And I've described these pictures that will help you identify a mushroom. And here they are right now.